Basketball game. Nearly 53,000 exuberant fans showed up at the Houston Astrodome for the game tabbed as the game of the century. Unbeaten and top-ranked UCLA against number 2 and unbeaten Houston. Now 14 years later, the Cougars that took part in that game look back with very fond memories. Don Chaney was a starting guard on the Houston team. Chaney went on to have an illustrious career with the Boston Celtics, presently an assistant coach with the Detroit Pistons. This past year, Chaney was inducted into the Cougar Hall of Fame, and Chaney looks back at the game of the century.
Well, the UCLA game in the Astrodome, that was one of the, matter of fact, not only in my college career, it stands out throughout my career as one of the highest point of my basketball career. It's something that you never forget. It's something that you can't explain. It's something that you feel inside, and something that you'll probably cherish the rest of your life.
The starting units for both squads would play almost the entire game. But for Vern Lewis, son of head coach Guy Lewis, one moment stands out.
Yes, there was. It was when George Reynolds got his 4th foul, and I suddenly realized I was having to go in the game. My heart began to race. Both teams did have depth, but as it went along, it seemed like both went with their starting 5, and of course George Reynolds did come back in the second half, taking me out, and continued to play very well the rest of the game. It was very close all the way to the very end, and it was just like I say, it was a game that was a highlight of my career.
The game was the meeting of two giants, Lou Alcindor of UCLA and Elvin Hayes of Houston. On this occasion, Hayes would not be denied, scoring 39 points and grabbing 15 rebounds, while Alcindor was held to 15 points and 12 rebounds.
Well, it's probably one of the greatest college basketball games, I think, in the history of college sports. And for me, it was a highlight of my career, because I think that out of all the places I traveled in the world, most of my recognition is still done by that one single game. It affected people more than any single game that I think that I will ever play and ever have played in. It's people can identify with it. They can identify the moment, the time, and the place, whatever they was doing at that time. And it was probably one of the, just highlights of a lot of people's lives, and especially my career, as I said. I think it did more for, especially in the Southwest. I think it did more for college basketball in the Southwest than any single game any year in basketball. I think that game really established the dominance and the power of Southwest basketball. And I think Houston led the way throughout the nation, saying, hey, we have great basketball down here. We have real fine talent. We have great players. And we proved ourselves that night. And not only to the local fans who knew we was a very good basketball team, but to the nation and to the world.
Quite a thrilling night, and I tell you what, that gets the blood flowing, doesn't it?
That was beautifully said, Elvin, but my golly, I'm excited.
Is that the biggest thrill of your life, coaching-wise?
Well, coaching-wise, certainly, no question about it. I still get goosebumps just thinking about that game, especially seeing those guys out there playing again. But that one's over with. We got a big game with Arkansas coming up, and I can also get pretty worked up just thinking about those guys.